friends, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to May's wrap-up video. So in May I finished 12 books, with 2 of them being DNFs. So 2 of them I did not finish, but that's like purposefully. I chose not to. I wasn't jiving with them. Most of these have since been unhauled. I think I only have 3 of them left. 4 of them. But okay, I have a good chunk of them left, but I did unhaul the ones that I did not like. So let's start with DNFs. I'm not really going to tell you much about these stories. For one reason or another, they didn't work for me, and that is The Bewitching by Sylvia Moreno Garcia. I do think that I am going to give up on this author. It is the second book by this author that I have DNF'd. The first one being Mexican Gothic, and I know that everyone loves that book. Here's the thing though. The Bewitching, I was living for this book. I was loving the witchy vibes. I didn't even mind the historicalness of this book. Like, I was purely enjoying this book. There were 3 different timelines, 3 different main characters. I was interested to see how they like wove together, and I kind of want to know, but they didn't. I guess I'm gonna spoil. There's this relationship that was built between Mira and her uncle, like her blood uncle, and nope. It was like, here's the thing. I like a good forbidden romance. Not when it's your uncle and you're an uncle, you're the niece, and you guys are I do not like that. No thank you. So they didn't actually get to like physically doing anything. I have a suspicion that they do, because there was just like this flirting and this getting close to your uncle. It was just gross. Couldn't do it. So for me personally, that was my limit. I was like, nope, done with this. The other one that I DNF'd, this one was a shame because I loved the other book by this author, but I DNF'd The God of the Woods by Liz Moore. Yeah. Yeah, the mystery in here was interesting because it reminded me of like the Riley Sager one where they're at a summer camp and one of them goes missing. I really enjoyed that part. However, there are like 3 or 4 different storylines. There's like 4 or 5 different characters that you're supposed to keep up with, and I didn't care enough to make like a story map or take notes on it. Like, honestly, I just wanted a no-brainer kind of read for the summer. I don't think I will ever go back to that one. I just couldn't jive with it. There was too much going on, and I don't really think that the book knew what it was trying to do. Okay, now let's go to 1 star. I don't have any 5 stars, you guys. It's so sad. But my one 1-star book was Not Your Average Hot Guy by Gwenda Bond. I finally read it, and then I hated it. So it was out of my comfort zone by far, because I'm not normally a paranormal romance girly, but I really wanted to try this. So I tried it. You follow Callie, and she is working, or she runs this escape room that her family owns, And then these, like, these cult leaders, this cult group comes to do one of the escape rooms, and they get through it really fast or whatever, and there was some kind of magical thing there, and then it was like, well, what the heck is this? And they kidnap Callie and her best friend, and because they are trying to go, Callie is trying to go after the cult leaders to get the book back, to put it back in the escape room, and that starts this journey of being kidnapped and then action-packed of trying to go home. But while they're being kidnapped and held hostage, although not really held hostage, like, it seems like they're being held hostage, but they're not tied up. It looks like they could just walk away, but they don't, and that was weird. And then while they're doing that, the Lucifer comes. He's like, the cult leaders try to communicate with the devil, and the devil's son comes, tries to talk to them, and then it's a romance between Callie and Luke, the devil's son, but it's not really a romance, but there are romantic elements. And then they're on this action-packed adventure to go get the grimoire and then go talk to these people, and like, a lot of it just seemed very pointless. And the problem with this book is that it tried way too many things. It was trying to be a paranormal romance, an action adventure, and a spy novel. It was trying all these things, and it was very, very poorly executed. So I'm sorry, I did not like it. Okay, then I have two 2-star books. Three 2-star books. I talked about this one in a reading vlog, so I'm not really going to talk about much here, but Him by Serena Bowen and Ella Kennedy. Next, If You Stayed by Brittany Cherry. I believe that one was talked about in the same reading vlog. And then The Summer Oath. I just finished this one. This one read much, or I guess listened much like a young adult novel. It didn't really have much substance to it. It was just kind of like, whatever. I finished it because the narration was really entertaining, and I had an afternoon where I could just listen and do food prep, but oh my god, these characters were annoying. It was awful. Okay, let's go to 3 stars. 3 stars. Mocha by Monica Kim. This was so disappointing to me because The Eyes Are the Best Part by Monica Kim is like a 5 out of 5 star. I love this book. It's got cannibalism. I guess I like books about cannibalism. Anyways, this was wonderful. It was a horrible nightmare, and I loved it. But I read Mocha, which is Monica Kim's newest release, and like, it wasn't bad. I gave it 3 stars. It was fine. But I was disappointed because I wanted that same 5-star energy, and I didn't get it. You follow different characters in Let me try it again. Seoul, South Korea, and I guess that's very common in Korea for where people, specifically men, but people, to put up cameras in like private areas and watch them, which is disturbing and gross. but it just kind of fell flat for me. It was like, okay, well, yeah, obviously this guy's horrible. He's putting cameras in the woman's bathroom at the place that he works, and no one's catching on. And, like, I don't know, it just felt very anticlimactic until the revenge part came in, which was not surprising to me. But it was just fine. It was just very you were literally just watching this man or a couple of different men be gross and watching surveillance cameras that shouldn't be there, and then just be sexist a-holes. And I don't know, it just for the first half of the book you were just very repetitive, very and I get it, you were trying to build background on what's happening, but it felt very repetitive and very boring. So I gave it 3 stars. It was fine. Then Breathe In, Bleed Out by Brian McCurley. I don't know his name. By Brian something. This was 3 stars. I would even venture to say it was like 3.5 territory. This one I wouldn't mind actually getting. It's so cheesy. So if you don't like that kind of horror, then you won't like this one. It was very campy, it's just your typical slasher. I think it took place at a summer camp, but I don't really remember. But it was just a slasher, and it was just fun. It's very campy. It's very, reminiscent of Scream. So if you like the cheesiness and the campiness of a movie like Scream, you will like Breathe In, Bleed Out. It was just a fun time. I didn't absolutely love it, but I didn't absolutely hate it. It was just kind of middle of the road fun. 3 stars. Okay. Now we have 3 4-star books and 0 5-star books. So let me talk to you about my favorite books of the month, although it's not really that great if it's a 4-star, but let's start. I'm gonna tell you in order of which ones are the best and which. So I'm gonna go from least favorite 4-star to middle ground to best. So I'll end on my best book. Oh, I have 4 of them. Okay, so in 4th place for 4 stars is Delicate Condition, which was the best mom horror. It was a lot of fun. It was just postpartum depression and... Okay, it wasn't postpartum. It was this woman finally got pregnant. She's been trying IFV for many years to get pregnant. She finally got pregnant, and then the doctor told her that she lost the baby, but she can still feel the baby moving around and things. So she thinks that there's a conspiracy to say that her baby's gone, even though her baby's not. Love that part. That part was 5 out of 5 stars. Was just like, oh my god, is she cray-cray or what's going on? I was holding on to this book. I was addicted. And then it went a certain direction that made it a little less enjoyable for me. And that's all I'm gonna say. So if you like mom horror, you might like this, but I don't like horror novels that tie up really well with a bow where you get most of the answers or all of the answers. You don't get every answer, but the answers that you did get in Delicate Condition were not the answers that I had wanted in my brain. So it was very disappointing to me, but it was still a good time. So it was still 4 stars. Then, oh man, this is hard. These are like Battle of the Romances. So there's Fight or Flight by Samantha Young, which was a 4-star book, and Zom Rom-Com by Olivia Dade. Oh my god. Both of these should be on your want to read list. These are both so great. So Fight or Flight, I went in thinking I was gonna not enjoy it. Like, it's just been sitting on my TBR for a while, and I'm like, okay, so they meet at an airplane, at an airport, he's grumpy, she's sunshine, and they're just gonna keep meeting, and then they're gonna fall in love. I don't know, it sounds really boring. The back does, in my opinion, the back is very misleading. It does not tell you how much of a gut punch you're gonna get with this novel, because yes, it's a romance and grumpy sunshine, you could say, although she's not that sunshiny, so kind of grumpy but it doesn't tell you how much she's actually going through. She's just lost her best friend, and she was coming home from a funeral and from her best friend, and there's a lot of baggage in that relationship with her best friend and her ex-boyfriend, and the way that Caleb, like, I don't want to say handles her, but handles her and lets her just break down and melt down. Like, he is a god, okay? He's not truly a god. It's a contemporary romance. But the gut punch that you got with that novel, I cried. I read that on vacation with my children, and I'm just like, I'm not even talking one glistening tear. I was like, what is going on? And it was great. It was wonderful. It was the therapy that I needed while on vacation. I loved that book. And the more I talk about it, the more I want to give it 5 stars. But I think, realistically, it is a 4-star. I have other books that are 5 stars. Not that I read in May, because May was not my reading month. But then I have Zom Rom-Com by Olivia Dade, which is like body positive. I love Olivia Dade because her writing is wonderful. But more than that, all of her main character energy is like body positive. So being okay with what you look like. And I am someone who has struggled with my weight my entire life. I'm finally at a point where I'm like, I'm happy with where I'm at. But it took a lot of like mindset changes and a lot of, you know, just like I've been on a bit of a health journey. But I love that. And then, oh man, I don't remember her name. Why can't I remember her name? Anyways, our main character, you're in a zombie apocalypse, and she decides that she's gonna team up with her next door neighbor because he seems like he would be helpful in a zombie apocalypse. Little does she know that he's a vampire, and that's why he's so good with the zombie apocalypse. There's a lot of like weird things that I normally don't like. There's some fae in here, and it was just like really an adventure story with a romance in it. But I enjoyed their dynamic. She's very, very down on herself at first, but he kind of, even though he's a vampire, he brings out like her sunshine elements, and he's like, why do you do that to yourself? You're so awesome. And like, I don't know, I just really adored him. He's a vampire, but oh my gosh, maybe I like vampires now. And they don't sparkle. I'm sorry, I haven't read a vampire book. No, that's not true. I have read a couple vampire books since Twilight, but they're generally not what I go for, but this was so much fun. It was action-packed, it was kind of funny, and it was just lighthearted most of the way through, even though it's a zombie apocalypse. So it's not as bleak as the rest of the apocalypse books that you're going to read. And usually that's why I like apocalypse books, because they're bleak and sometimes you don't always get all the answers. And I love that. But in this one you get all the answers, and it's just this really cute romance. I just loved it. I could gush about that one some more. The last 4-star book, which at this current point, I'm thinking Zom Rom-Com and Fight or Flight were actually my favorites, so move those up to my favorites. This one's in 3rd place, and then Delicate Condition. Yeah. So 3rd place is More Souls by Abe Moss. This was previously independently published, but has been picked up by a bigger publishing company and will be re-released in October. With that being said, this was weird, like weird horror. You follow this woman that's going to meet her boyfriend's parents at dinner for the first time, and he's kind of like trying to be like, just don't take what they say seriously, like, I'm sorry if they're mean, because I guess that he doesn't have the best relationship with his family, but she still wants to meet them. So it's like a nightmare dinner with meet parents almost. But then as you're there, you're like, wait, why is his dad trying to lure him away? Wait, no! I don't know if this is a spoiler. I haven't read the back of the book. So if you don't want any details, then I suggest you leave, because this is the last book I'm going to talk about. But I will see you in the next video. I hope you enjoyed this one. But as you're going through this book, you realize that there's doppelgangers or lookalikes of his entire family, and that the real family members are being held hostage in the basement. They're being tied up, and it comes to realization that I'm pretty sure the doppelgangers, the lookalikes, they are going to kill and eat the real people. So we have the mortals and the lookalikes, and it was weird. And then they like try to move their body. Like the lookalikes tried to move them somewhere more secluded, and then like things start happening, and my head was spinning, but it was oddly fun. So what I'm telling you is that in the month of May, I really just wanted fun books, except for Fight or Flight. That one was gut-wrenching. Yeah, the rest were just fun. Delicate Condition was weird too. But just May, the month of fun. Sure. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to smash that like button. Subscribe to my channel if you're new around here, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye! Okay.